General Management Plan. These plans take the overall goals and objectives established for the protected area system and apply them to the natural and cultural situation of the specific protected area. There are different types of plans needed in the planning context of ecotourism management for protected areas. Number 1 is the National Conservation Plan or Strategy. This type of plan normally focuses on the conservation of national sites, heritage, and protected areas. Number 2, the National Protected Area System Plan. This is another national plan that is detailing the conservation and protection of protected areas under the existing laws. Number 3, Individual Protected Area General Management Plans. This General Management Plan of Protected Areas refers to plan created and developed for specific areas. Number 4, Specific Thematic or Programmatic Plans. This refers to plan that is specifically focused as to what is the theme or subject or premise of the programs. Number 5, Annual Work Plans. More specifically pertains to work plan to be done short-term on a regular basis, anchoring to the main management plan in order to monitor, evaluate, and improve or revise activities to meet the objectives. Lastly, Ecotourism Management Plans. This plan is specifically created to manage the ecotourism of an area, which entails details as to conservation, land use, protection of natural environment and wildlife, community involvement, appropriate local marketing, routine process and criteria, incentives, environmental charges, and environmental performance screening. There are different factors that affect the length of the planning process. Those factors are the availability and amount of funding, the complexity of the tourism or public use situation of the protected area, the amount of time that the planning team dedicates to the process, the amount of support that the planning team receives from stakeholders, and the amount of detail that is required. The participants in the planning process are the protected area staff, community participants, specialists or scientists, non-profit organizations or NGOs, government agencies, and tour operators. The planning process, which has 4 phases. Phase 1, which includes ecotourism identified as a potential opportunity. Next is preliminary site evaluation and full site diagnostic. Phase 2, which includes ecotourism management planning and business planning. Phase 3, ecotourism management plan implementation and ecotourism business development. And lastly, Phase 4, measure success. Ecotourism within the conservation design. Number 1, setting priorities. 2, developing strategies conservation area planning. 3, taking action. And 4, measuring. There are 4 different sources of funding for an EMP, which includes international assistance, national sources, local communities or government, and tourism industry. Conservation managers and tour operators. Selecting an ecotourism enterprise structure. To determine which structure is best for a particular ecotourism business, it is helpful to evaluate the options in the context of the conservation objectives, community beliefs, and available financial and human resources. community-based ecotourism enterprises. They often take the form of a structured or loosely aligned cooperative in which members of the community hold active roles in providing with accommodations, food, crafts, transportation, or guides. Private sector concessions. In some cases, a protected area may best be served by establishing a concession whereby a private tour operator or hotelier is given the exclusive rights to develop and manage a facility. NGO or private sector partnership. Many NGOs play active roles in the management of protected areas, but most do not have the skills needed to run an ecotourism business or the desire to divert resources from conservation activities. NGO ecotourism enterprises. An NGO in this situation must have access to the capital and training required to provide ecotourism services, and it must also have the legal authority to operate a business, which is prohibited in some countries. NGO or community or private sector. In this structure, each partner can contribute their greatest strengths. Using this structure makes it easier to avoid some of the disadvantages of other enterprise structures. Assessing potential partners. A desirable form of ecotourism enterprise involves partnership between communities, NGOs, and private businesses. The Green Guidelines for Tour Operators. Number 1. Supports local community development. 2. Ensures waste is managed appropriately. 3. Promotes responsible visitor behavior. 4. Uses renewable energy and promotes fuel efficiency. 5. Trains and employs local guides. And 6. Monitors impacts. Marketing advantages of responsible tourism. It helps reach a bigger market by tapping into additional travel motivators, assists in keeping existing customers by demonstrating best tourism practices, increase the appeal of a travel itinerary through special experiences, and lastly, reduce marketing costs. The different types of company. The sole proprietorship, which is not a separate entity. The proprietor holds all assets and debts. The general partnership, a business entity created by two or more co-owners. The limited liability partnership, a business entity created by two or more co-owners with protection. Joint venture, an agreement between two or more organizations to participate in a business project. Corporations, a business entity with a separate tax and a legal life from its shareholders. Cooperatives, a business entity democratically controlled by participating members. Memorandum of Understanding. Memorandum of Understanding is often the first step towards formalizing a joint venture or partnership agreement. It is a legal document that outlines which entities will be party to the agreement, their individual responsibilities, and the intent of the partnership. Common elements of a Memorandum of Understanding. Parties to the Memorandum of Understanding, duration of the agreement, goals or intent, property to be contributed by each party, cost allocations and revenue sharing methods, liabilities and responsibilities of each party, information sharing, dispute resolution, assurances, modifications or termination, and signatures.